Welcome to our training session on creating a collaborative Google document.
We will start our training program today, whether you are working at home or you're working in our group session, by watching this video. And as we watch the video, you will have a chance to work right along with the video, to log in, and to create your own collaborative document. To begin with, we want to be able to log in to Google Docs. So we want to navigate in our URL bar, our address bar at the top, to google.com. We'll take just a second for you here to be able to navigate to google.com. Once you are at google.com, you will see up here in the upper right hand side, you will see a little sign in button, either right here where it says sign in, or it could be up here in your bar. Okay? So we're going to click on our sign in button, and that's going to take us to our account page. Now my email address is already entered in. Your email address will look very similar. It is your district username to log into our system, followed by at 3lakessd.k12.wi.us. Yes, it's fairly long, but it's not that hard to remember after you enter it a few times. So go ahead and enter in your username at 3lakessd.k12.wi.us, just as you see here on my email. Every member of the district, whether it's a student or staff member, has this same extension to be able to log in to Google Docs and into Google Apps. The password is the same as your login password for the district. So you may enter that as well and then click enter to sign in. Okay, now we will just take a minute here, just a few seconds, so for a pause, for you to be able to log in. And to make sure that you are logged in, we will, as facilitators, will be circling around the room, helping you with any problems. If you are working on this at home and you are running into problems, please feel free to contact any of the facilitators with the emails, text message numbers, or phone numbers that you were given before you accepted the training. Okay, now we are all back and we're logged in. Notice at the top of the bar, now it says your email and name for Google Docs. If you click on this button, you can see that's your account. You can change your privacy account settings or sign out. Right now, that's exactly where we want to be. We're good to go so far. Now, we want to be able to get to away from just the Google homepage here, and we want to get to Google Docs. To navigate to Google Docs, we look up here in our menu bar for the Google menu, and we see it says Search, Images, Video, Maps, News, Shopping, Mail. None of those say Documents yet. So we want to click on More, which will bring up a drop-down menu. The drop-down menu, we go down until we find Documents. And we want to click to select Documents. That will take us to our Google Home or Document page. This page will contain all the documents that you have so far created or been shared with you through Google. As you can see in mine, I have a number of different documents from my different classes. Elk Habitat case studies and survival shelter information from my global science class. STEM course descriptions and information from our new STEM course we're just setting up. Different student collaborations and fire building assignments from students and tests and different activities here. Anything that is not bold printed is things that you have opened. If it's bold, then it's something has been modified since the last time you had looked at it. These are where your documents are going to be stored. You may not have any here yet, or you may have some here if you have been working a little bit with Google Docs to this point. Today our focus, though, is creating a collaborative document, a document that you and students can work with together, or students can work on together on assignments or projects or tests or quizzes or whatever idea you come up with to give a single product between them. Now, to create a document is pretty easily. We notice on the left-hand side of our screen, we have this big box that says Create. All we have to do is click on that Create box. That brings up a menu of different tools within our document. Just like in Microsoft Office or in iWorks, we have a number of different tools. We have a number of different tools in Google Apps as well. We have a document, which is your Word or your Pages document, word processing in other words. We have a presentation, which would be similar to Keynote and PowerPoint. A spreadsheet, which is numbers or Excel. Forms are very interesting. That is something we'll save for another training session, but Google Forms are something that's very useful for us for creating surveys or even creating tests. So that's another item that we can bring up another time. And drawing in a collection is how you can organize your documents that are from students or shared with you or that you're sharing with other people in different categories. Right now we are just concerned again with creating that original collaborative document. So we're going to click on Document. That brings us up a word processing page. And you can see it looks like a normal word processing page. It's got our file, edit, view, our menu here for like we would see in Word or in Pages. And we see our different tools for editing. Okay? And we have our text place to write. Same thing as we've always been working on in other programs. Few differences though. It's very easy to change your title of your document. You can see this is your document title here at the top left. Untitled document. The arrow takes you back to your home Google Doc page. If we hover over the untitled document, we see a gray box appear. On no gray box, gray box. If we click that, that brings up a pop-up bar which lets us enter a document name. So for this document, let's enter a name of collaborative document, just because it's a practice document. And we'll click OK. And you can see how fast that changed up here. Now, one other key point I want to point out as well, and you may have seen this as it was happening, every time you make a change, when I put my cursor over the all changes saved, it lets me know that every change I make is automatically saved. We don't have to worry about every 30 seconds or every 2 minutes or every 10 minutes to go ahead and save our work. It's being saved as we type it. So that's a real nice feature for us that we don't have to worry about losing our information. Okay, now we have created a document. We have a named document. We know it's going to save our information as we're going to go along. Now we want to work a little bit on that collaborative part. Now the first part is just setting up as an example. I'm going to enter a couple of questions. So I'm going to type in 2 or 3 questions here. Is collaboration between or among students important? How so? And I'm going to leave some space here for plenty of room for collaboration. What are some different ways that collaboration can be used in the classroom? And let's enter one more question, a little bit more general question maybe. What excites you so far about Google Docs/apps and those uses in your classroom? Okay, it's just like you're typing on Word or in Pages. You're creating a document. Maybe you're typing some questions in, or you may even be putting in information and then having students use this as a resource page or add resources to it. This isn't the collaboration part yet. As of this point, the only person who can access this document and view it, edit it, or comment on it is the owner, the person who's doing the typing. To be able to share and get other people to be able to see this document, we have to change our sharing properties. As you may have guessed, at the top right-hand corner, there's a blue box with a padlock on it that says Share. And you can see when I hover over it, it says Private to Only Me. That means only I can access it. To get other people to be able to access, we click the Share button. And right now you can see who has access, and we can add people. Now there's a couple of different ways that we can provide access. If I click on the Change button, we can see the sharing settings. Now for our purposes, for most of our purposes, we won't need to change any of these because we're going to want only people from our classes to be available. unless we have something like a person with an outside link or an outside expert who is going to work with our students. But our choices are public on the web. Anyone can find and access this document. They don't have to have a sign-in to Google Docs. They don't have to be able to get into the Three Lakes system. They can just find this document and they can work on it. Anyone with the link, anyone who has the link, you can send people a link and then they can access it without having to sign in. People at Three Lakes School District, anyone at Three Lakes School District can find and access your link, or people with the link. Okay, so they have to have the link in order to be able to access the document. But private is probably the best one, again, for most of our classwork, again, unless you're going to have outside experts be able to collaborate with your students. Then you would probably use anyone with the link, because that limits who has access to your students and that information. But we're going to leave it as private right now, and just click Save, and I'll show you how you can add your students as well. Okay, to add specific people while you're keeping it private, to be able to change and edit and comment and view on your project, you want to go to Add People. I'm just going to click in the box for entering names. Now from here you can start entering names or email addresses of anybody in the school. Everybody that's in the school district has a contact list and is in here right now. As an example, I'll start typing Brad. And you notice we have anything with the Brad in it is going to show up. Brad Volkman, Braden Pulver, Bradley Pazanski, Bradley Sawinski, and their email addresses. And so you can just click enter after those, or highlight the number and click it, and then they are entered in as being able to either edit, comment, or view, depending on which permission you set. Right now we'll have it set as can edit. Now I'm going to just erase him for just a minute here. Because let's say you have a whole group, and in your previous trainings with Google Mail, you learned how to set up a group. So we can also go choose from contacts. And right below the search bar, we have our most contacted list, which if we click that and open it, you can see that will show all the groups that we have added in. So we have contacts, applied math, chemistry, global science, physics. Those are my contacts that I've made. Or all contacts would be anything that's out that I have had any contact with but wasn't in one of my groups. Okay, in this case, I'm going to add my applied math group. I'm going to just change it to chemistry group. You'll see why in just in a minute. Okay, so now from that chemistry group, I can either choose to pick people at random. I just want to pick these 3 from that group. I didn't really want to go and search them. Or I could pick all of them just by clicking all. And they're all selected. And then I click Done. And now all their names and addresses are listed here. And I can set them as to either edit, which means they can change or add content. They can add comments in the comment boxes. Or they can just view the document. If it's just a resource you want them to see but not add or change anything to, you might have them view it. Let's leave it at edit. And once I share and save, that sends an email to all of the users that I've selected that tells them that they have a link that's been shared with them that they can then go into and work with. They will also have this show up on their Google Docs page. Okay? So what we've done is we have just shared a document. We have just made a collaborative document. Now so far there's nothing in our collaborative document besides what we have typed in. And in this video I can't really go through and show you necessarily from this particular document how different people can work on the same document at the same time or at different times, but I can show you some examples of documents where we have done that. Now I'm going to switch over to a case study document. Okay, in this particular document in my global science class, I set up a page for a resource for the students to add information to, so as they learn something about our different topics we were talking about in our elk habitat case study, they could add them to this page. And once they add them to this page, then everybody had access to this information for writing their papers and doing their video project. In blue on my case, I have placed a question or placed a statement that they were looking for information of. All this information underneath in black is information that the students entered. Now they entered it from separate computers at different times during our week project. And so you can see as I page down, you can see all the different information that was entered in those different steps. And I had those students also say which group they were from so that I could know who entered the information, and we could also talk back and forth with each other about what was happening in the diagram. But this is a document we did not set up so much for conversation, but a place to deposit knowledge that the students had been gathering. Another document that we have is from the same class is Habitat 5 sheet. In this sheet we have a basic set of information that I gave the students in our project, and then we're looking for what kind of questions were posed by your group. What information did they want to find out from what they had just learned? What new things should come up? And each group of students posted questions that they came up with based on those informations. Now, we also at the same time, in this case, had some conversations going back and forth. As I was seeing information that they were putting in, whether they were missing something that someone had written earlier, or they were saying something that may not have been quite factually correct, I was able at the same time to go in and type myself and ask them questions back. Here's one example. They are saying that the information does not cause them to reject their earlier hypotheses because they stated contamination of pollution as a factor. And they still believe it could be any number of factors in any combination. And I said, is this really considered a contamination or pollution since it's a natural phenomenon? In this case, we're talking about fluoride and silicon dioxide in the water in Yellowstone National Park. And they were able to go through and maybe clarify some of the things that they had been thinking and rethink what they were thinking, as well as other people comment and add to the discussion about what's going on. So we have a lot of people able to participate at the same time and see what we're all thinking and have a record of that information. And you can see that goes on and on and on. So it's a good collaborative document where we're able to share our ideas. The next example I want to show you is an example from a chemistry class. Now, this example is going to show us a couple of different things that we want to take a look at. Same thing, I have some questions, and I have students that were answering the questions. They were working together to answer these questions, though. But in this case, I just wanted good answers to my questions. I didn't want a conversation here. Well, if the students are in different places and can't talk to each other, how do they know what to write? Well, once we have users on your page, right up under your comments and share bars, you will see this little arrow and it tells you how many other viewers you have. Right now I have no other viewers, but this is my chat area. So when I click on that little arrow, that opens up the chat box. So you can converse with other people that are working on the same document at the same time through chat. A great place to share ideas, to share discussion about what kind of things they should include in their questions. As you can see, what's different about pyramidal versus trigonal planar shapes in small molecules. Answered the same thing a couple times. They're talking about lone pairs that make angle measurements be different and the different ways that things can be around. Okay? And so they can continue to add and discuss here to be able to find out what they want to put here. Let's close that. Now, the one bad thing about the chat part is once you close your document, once you log off of that document and you come back to it later, the chat that was there originally is now gone. So this is just for when people are working at the same time on the same document. What if they're working at different times or from different places and they're hours apart or they don't keep that same document open? We can have the same general idea with comments. When I click on the comment box, I get the show comment stream. The show comment stream lets people leave comments about what's happening, and this will stay with the document as long as the document's there. As you can see, they thought it was very difficult in the beginning, but now they're understanding the concepts. And then you can add concepts and they can have conversations here. So this is where the collaboration part really is important, is really can be exciting, because the students can work at the same time on a document and chat about it, or they can comment on the work and you can comment on the work to have that creative document that that has been collaborated on by a number of students, sharing ideas to produce a product. Again, we don't have to save. Everything is saved automatically. We also can see who has changed what or added what at any time by going to File and see Revision History. The revision history shows us who was posting and when they posted. We have Emerson that posted here, Emerson and myself, Emerson, and as we click on that, for example, I click on Emerson, it will show me what he has entered in. He entered this information. And that goes through a running total of when things are added. You can see what things are added and when they were added newly. Okay, and we could also do more detailed revisions. That's for grading purposes. If you need to know exactly who entered something and they didn't put their names on it, you could go through revision history to see. So now what you'll have a chance to do is you have a chance to create your own collaborative document, share it with a couple of people around you if you're working at the training session. Just put in a couple of simple questions and then use your chat feature, which will show up however many other viewers you have up here that you can chat with each other on, and or comments as well. If you're working at home, feel free to leave comments and share this document with any of the facilitators. We will see them tonight or tomorrow night or during the day tomorrow, and we will be able to communicate with you as well as any other staff member. So if you share the link and ask a few questions and ask someone that's around you to help out, they will be able to do that, and we can work together to create collaborative documents with our students. Hopefully you found some very exciting things here and have some great ideas for what you can use in class. Our next training session will actually take those ideas. How can we make this type of collaborative document? What can we do with the collaborative document? And come up with some specific ideas for your specific classrooms. Okay? Thank you again for viewing and attending our workshop, and good luck.